curriculum nyo dito sa San Luis National High School. This time, I'm going to demonstrate to you how we are going to construct a concrete partition using the concrete hollow block. So the first step that we are going to use, by the way, I prepared this video for the sake of my students because there will be a plan of the education nowadays will be using online system of educating our students. So this video might help our students to understand the steps on how we are going to file hollow blocks or establish a concrete structure, specifically the concrete partition using the concrete hollow block. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to make a layout, no? So this is the portion in which we are going to establish a concrete partition. By the way, concrete partition is part of our house that separates space from another space. So the owner of this house is planning to make this as a bedroom. So we are going to construct a concrete walling or concrete partition in this part here. So the first thing that we are going to do is we will make a layout first so that we can determine where will be the exact location that will be in which our foundation or wall foundation of our partition will be laid off. So since this is the part that we are going to construct, so we are going to establish the straight line here. Now in making a layout of our foundation, we need also to have a, shall we say, reference line. So we will consider that existing walling as our reference. So we are going to measure distance from that point going here, then from that point going here, so that we can establish our straight line for our footing. Already our layouting procedure, so nakita na natin kung saan ang exact location para sa ating foundation. So in order to locate the area for our foundation, I measure 100 inches from that point going here, then 100 inches also from that point going this point, so that we can establish our string line. So this string line will be the guide for our concrete walling or concrete partition. So the next step is that we are going to establish or construct first our footing or foundation. By the way, foundation is the lowest support of our concrete structure. So it is very important that our foundation will be strong enough to carry the load of the structure. So we are going to, in other situation, sa ibang sitwasyon ng trabaho, dapat yung foundation natin naka-excavate. So may excavation. After locating the area, may excavation na mangyari. Pero sa ganitong sitwasyon, na kung saan matibay naman ito, concrete naman, at saka ito sa baba, concrete din, then we are going to put up a filling material. So we no need of making an excavation for our foundation. So we will just proceed to the next step to establish the foundation. materials used for our concrete materials for the concrete walling. So these horizontal bars will also make our foundation stronger, because as I've said that foundation is the lowest support of our concrete structure, so it should be reinforced. So the reinforcement materials that we use is the 10 mm deformed bars. So this is the vertical bars that will also reinforce our concrete hollow block. In this case, in this situation, no need for excavating because we have already concrete flooring. So, mula dito sa surface ng concrete flooring na to, we will measure 10 inches as the thickness of our foundation wall. So, lagyan natin ng concrete form dito. Okay, so this is now the concrete form that we established for the purpose of locating the foundation wall, no? So we are going to put mortars here, so that after putting the mortars, it will harden, it will become the foundation of the concrete walling. So sabi ko kanina, bago tayo mag-establish ng ating concrete walling, lagyan muna natin ng foundation. So as I've said, kailangan mayroon siyang reinforcement material, reinforcement bar sa ilalim. So nandito na. So ako lang nito, lagyan natin ng mortars para matapos na yung ginagawa nating foundation. So sa ganitong sitwasyon, so kailangan natin lagyan natin ng pasta dito, yung solid na concrete, cement lang, para didikit yung bagong mortars natin. So this is it. So this cement will serve as the bonding agent for the fresh concrete and the old concrete surface. So kaya it's very important, kailangan lagyan natin ng simento para didikit yung bagong concrete natin. By the way, this is called concrete mortars. No, it is the mixture of cement, sand, and gravel, and this is called concrete. No? Cement plus sand plus gravel equals concrete. So we will use this material as material for our foundation or footing. Lagay natin sa form. Importante ito. By the way, I would like to clarify that not all of the situation that the construction of the concrete walling or concrete foundation will be in this way. What is important that I am going to emphasize now is that in making our concrete walling or concrete partition, there should be a foundation, because that will serve as the lowest support, and it should be firm, strong enough to carry the load of the entire concrete structure. The tool that I'm using now in this process is what we call triangular trowel. This is a triangular trowel, one of the important masonry tools, no? So without this, we cannot perform this kind of aspect of work in concrete work. So we have now already the foundation of our concrete walling. So ibalik ko lang, no, I would like to explain further the importance of this vertical bars. This is vertical bar. It is spaced, ang distansya nito is 0.60 or 24 inches. So from this point going here is 24 inches. So dito dapat mayroong concrete column. Pero sa ganitong sitwasyon ito, it is already mayroon naman dito, column naman ito dito. So ang gagawin na natin, lagyan natin ng reinforcement bars para kuha siya ng suporta dito. So yung mahalaga po ito dahil our concrete hollow block will not become a reinforced concrete kung wala ito. So kaya kailangan ang concrete vertical bars. Dahil pag wala ito, hindi maging matibay ang ating concrete walling. So yun, importante din ito. So in other situation, halimbawa itong foundation natin, hindi ito natawag natin na substandard ito because there will be a specified dimension of our foundation. Depends upon on the specified on the working drawing or plan of the structure. So sa sitwasyon ito lang ginawa natin dahil ito lang ang kailangan sa patay ito. So next, ang gagawin natin, magsimula na tayo mag-file ng hollow block. So nakita natin ito yung target natin sa layout natin kanina. So ito ang kinalabasan ng ating layout. So ibig sabihin dito dadaan yung concrete hollow block natin. So ang importante lang ito, dapat itong linya na dito, dapat madala natin sa itaas para makagawa tayo ng yung tinatawag natin imaginary line for our concrete walling. So kailangan dala natin sa itaas, so magawa tayo ng guide bar. So mayroong vertical pole, vertical stake na ilagay natin dito para yung point dito matransfer natin sa itaas. We already established our vertical guide. So this will be followed for the surface of our concrete CHB or concrete hollow block. So this will serve now as our guide. So we establish this because without this, we cannot determine where our concrete filing will go through. So that is why we need a guide. In order to establish this vertical guide, we are going to use a plumb bob. So this is very important tool, no, in masonry or even in the carpentry. So this is what we call plumb bob. So this line will serve as our guide to determine the exact vertical alignment of our pool, vertical guide. Do not attempt, no, as a beginner, no, as a student, as a beginner of this work, do not attempt to go on or proceed to your concrete hollow block filing without this guide. Because this will, as I've said, this will serve as our guide. So kung wala ito, hindi natin malalaman kung saan pupunta patungo yung ating concrete filing. So ngayon, since we have already a guide, so we can start now our filing of the concrete hollow block. Sa sitwasyon ito, we need to locate also the label because when we establish our concrete filing, it should be horizontally labeled. So in a horizontal line, we are going to establish a perfect horizontal line. Ang sunod natin gawin ngayon, we are going to establish a point where our first layer of CHB begin. The height of this CHB is 7.5. Plus, mayroon tayong mortars for block laying. So kailangan ng mortars dyan for block laying. We are going to establish 8 1/2. I-measure tayo ng 8 1/2 mula dito sa ating footing line. So 8 1/2. Bakit 8 1/2? Dahil yung height ng CHB natin is 7.5 or 7 1/2 inches. 7 1/2. Then we presume that our mortars for block laying is 1 inch. So that is why we have to measure 8 1/2 inches. Okay, so 8 1/2 inches from the surface of our foundation. So ito ang foundation natin, ito itong surface. So measure tayo ng 8 1/2. Then ito na yung top ng ating CHB. Ito ang first layer natin. So ngayon, in order that we can bring this line there, so we have to measure. Mayroon naman tayong label dito. Ito yung resulta ng label natin kanina. So we are going to measure this distance. Ilan ito? So it is 45 and 3/4. So 45 and 3/4. So we are going to measure here 45 and 3/4. So ito yung horizontal line natin kanina. So 44 and 3/4. So ito lang. So 44 and 3/4 ito. So ito yung first layer ng ating CHB. 8 1/2. So ngayon, yung point dito at saka yung point natin, i-meet natin sa magitan ng paggamit ng string line. Here are the different process that we perform, different steps we perform in this aspect of work. We come up now, we come to this point of our work in which we are going to start filing the concrete hollow block. So mayroon na tayong foundation or footing, mayroon na tayong mga vertical bars, then we have also our guide, no, in the concrete vertical, no, in the vertical line of our concrete walling. So we can now proceed. Then we already established also the horizontal line. So we can proceed now to the filing of the first layer of CHB. So don't forget that this string line will serve as our guide. So kung wala ito, hindi maging maayos ang pag-file natin ng concrete hollow block. Kaya kailangan mahalaga talaga to. So mayroong mga proseso na sinusunod natin bago tayo naka-establish ng horizontal or yung string line as our guide in the filing of the concrete hollow block. So we will start. So lagyan natin ng mortars for block laying. So mortars for block laying, we will use this here. block. So see, we can understand now how important is the string line that we establish through this vertical guide. So without this vertical guide and without the layouting procedure that we have done a while ago, we cannot establish our first layer of concrete hollow block. So this is the starting point, and it will go upward, and that will be the imaginary line of our concrete surface. Okay, this time we are going to establish another string line for the second layer of our CHB. String line and our guide for the second layer. So the mortar that we are going to use now is made up of sand, fine sand. Walang gravel ito. So this is intended for seating or for block laying. So this is what we call mortar for block laying. So the other one is used for the pouring of or hollow seal. So yung butas ng hollow block kasi natawag na seal yan. The other mixture, the other concrete that we have will be used to fill the hollow seal. So ngayon, we are going to establish another mortar for block laying for the second layer. Why is it that we use the fine sand for mortars for block laying, that we use for mortar for block laying? Is that if we will include gravel in our mixture for block laying, it is very difficult for us to align the CHB. Dahil mayroong mga graba doon, hindi natin ma-align. So that is why we use the fine sand. Situation, we need to put up or establish a horizontal bar, because this horizontal bar will also reinforce our concrete hollow block, no? So in other words, in our structure there is a vertical bars and horizontal bars, and this is the reinforcement materials used for this structure. So we are going to bind the vertical and horizontal bar using the tie wire. So this is the tie wire. So we will just cut 10 inches, then fold like that. Then again, fold na naman para gawing ties natin dito sa ating reinforcement material. So ganito lang gagawin. Lagay lang dyan. Then pagkatapos, fold, then twist the tie wire. So importante lang dito, masunod natin ang procedure at saka yung part ng mga ginagawa natin. So may layout tayo, may footing, then may vertical bar, may horizontal bar. Yun ang mahalaga. Then may guide tayo, yung tinatawag natin na vertical lumber or stake that will serve as guide in filing the CHB block or concrete hollow block. Pagkatapos nito, lagyan naman natin ang seating. So we will move again to the other layer. Now, since the vertical bar we have is no longer enough in terms of its length, so we add another length, another vertical bar. So this time we are using already scaffolding in order to reach the higher height of our concrete walling. Because since my height is not enough to reach this height of our structure, I used to stand in the scaffolding. Repeat again, the procedure in filing the CHB. The mortar for block laying is different from the mortar for hollow seal. So this is the what we call hollow shell of the CHB. So the mortars that we are going to fill in this hollow shell is different from the mortar that we use for block laying. Okay, this is now the result or the output of the activity that we have started this morning. So as I've said, this is what we call concrete partition using the concrete hollow block. So with the aid and with the use of the vertical guide that we have established during our work, so we able to come up with this output. So this the steps and the procedure that I am introducing during our work on how to establish this concrete walling is very useful for those teachers who are handling masonry subject in the senior high school. And also this video is intended for my students in the senior high school and also in the junior high school, the technology and livelihood education. So this will be useful to give my instruction and to have my lecture about masonry. So this is very common work, very easy and very simple sa mga mason na magaling nang magtrabaho nito. But for those who are beginners, still beginners, we have to follow the procedure that I am introducing. So the first steps is to make a layout, and in making our layout, we have to establish also our reference where we are going to refer our in making our layout. So the importance of making layout, because it is also important to locate the excavation for our foundation, because this walling partition or concrete walling should have a foundation, because foundation is the lowest support of this structure. So after locating the foundation, we can now establish or start the piling of the CHB. So we should not also forget, or we have to determine or try to take note all the time that we have to establish our vertical guide in order to make our walling or concrete walling also in a vertical position. So that's all. I am very happy and very glad to have this to come up this video. My next video presentation maybe is on how to apply mortars in this concrete or in this surface, concrete surface. That is what we call plastering. That is another competency in the masonry that should be learned of our students. So siguro sunod na video ipakita ko yun kung paano gawin. That's all. Thank you.